Bit of a review on Dean Cumberpatch's demo in Nottingham yesterday. In short, it was a failure. It's brought so much negative backlash and negative sentiment that normies have been put off by it. It's backfired spectacularly due to poor organisation and vetting behind the scenes. It turned out it was used covertly by grifters and others with bad optics for their own agendas as a vector for the oxygen of publicity. We've been told just today that Alan Craig of Hearts of Oak was there. He platforms Zio grifters like Anne-Marie Waters, Tom Robinson and Katie Hopkins. So that brings bad optics on its own, and it does not put that demo in a positive hue. Staying with the topic of bad optics for normies, left-wing Twitter noticed a couple of problematic characters and/or flags. Look, here's the thing. These folks who are obsessed in responding to BLM are reactionaries, and they are never truly going to get the message of white well-being out whilst carrying the chip of a negative focus on some other group or group of people. If these people truly wanted to advocate for white well-being which appealed to normies, they would have just picked a different slogan rather than this white law, kneel for no one nonsense, which is clearly designed to troll people. Talking about trolls, Ricky Doolin was there trolling a small group of Antifa kids. He's out there for publicity, that's why he turned up, let's be clear here. At this moment, people can see he's an opportunist. He's all about the opportunity amongst the Zio Civnats and Zio conservatives, because he sees Robinson and his cronies have been worn out by us, patriotic alternative and the left wing. He now senses that there's this chasm, a huge vacuum, because the old position has been vacated. The old grifters of Robinson, for Britain and Golding have been ushered into obscurity. Who's going to fill that vacuum? Ricky Doolin's trying to do it. But I reckon that vacuum's been filled by patriotic alternative. And again, just like all these groups, none of these people have the guts to talk about Epstein's links to a shady organisation called Mossad, based in the Middle East in a country beginning with the letter I, and it's not Iran, nor is it Iraq. We never see a rally for that poor British lady who was subjected to corrupt policing and a corrupt legal establishment when she was alleged to have been abused by an Israeli grooming gang in Cyprus. We all know at a gut level, if she had accused a bunch of Arabs of doing that, the grifters, the Zio Civnat grifters and the Zio conservatives would be talking about this round the clock still to this day. But we have never managed to get any of these people to protest for that woman. What is it? Do British women not matter when it involves men from a certain country that begins with I in the Middle East, which is not Iraq, nor is it Iran? We've got to ask these questions. These are the tough questions that you won't see anybody else asking. Nobby Robinson was there. Another man we've challenged and called out. We've called him out for playing soldiers in Dover and possibly using PayPal donations to fund it all. This lot, Nobby and the rest of them, have sleepwalked into becoming vehicles for the Conservative government's tactic of mass distraction. They're distracting people from the unemployment issue, the recession, and the botched handling of COVID-19, which is all having a detrimental effect on the working class. Yet this lot are zoning in on a few migrants in Dover like it's the biggest issue in the world. That's what Priti Patel and Boris Johnson want them to do. That's because the Conservative government want the British people, the British working class, to be distracted from the major pressing issues behind the Conservative betrayal of the working class. It's interesting that Nobby Robinson can front up somebody who's filming him, but he refuses to debate us, nor does he answer our questions that we've posed about his activity. We understand Glenn Saffer was there. That's our speculation, based on a recording that we've heard, an audio recording. We're aware Tommy Robinson did not bother to show up at this event, and apparently, according to this recording that we believe is audio of Mr. Safa, Robinson's been drinking beers and topping up his tan. Glenn Safa, for those who don't know, is a servant of the Tommy Robinson camp, which at its base level is a psycho grift operation, getting rich off gullible British people via fake news and manipulated and selected outrage. We're not sure whether Inman was there or not. Richard Inman, however, was promoting it. That brings bad optics on its own. He's a hype man for Mr. Robinson, who sold out the working class for a Zio agenda and an agenda to enrich himself. Inman has been a facilitator for British people being sold out for years, and he's been involved in the machinery which takes donations off the less well-informed and the more gullible amongst the British world. Always remember, those donations are never accounted for, and there's never any transparency. So all in all, Dean Cumberpatch needs to tighten up his operation. He's running a loose ship. He needs to tighten the ship that he's running.